Hey, welcome back to the Ready State. Today we're talking calves. We're talking ankle range of motion. And one of the things that you can sneak into your life that will change your ankle range of motion forever. Now check this out. We're always obsessed, most of us, with, okay, a lot of us, you too, with what's going on with my dorsiflexion when I squat. Well, that's putting the ankle into end range of motion when the hips are flexed to the chest. Well, turns out that is not where most of us use our dorsiflexion or lack of dorsiflexion. Because we can still squat to 90, we can squat to pretty parallel, we can keep torsos forward and shins vertical and not really expose our lack of range of motion. Of course, should you have full range of motion, normative range of motion in your body? It's debatable, but I'm gonna go with yes. Yes, you should. Now check this out. The real limitation, which leads to a lot of calf problems, Achilles problems, foot problems, whole chain problems, is actually the fact that you don't have much dorsiflexion when the leg is in extension. And it turns out this is probably more important to us as athletes, as people, than dorsiflexion in the squat. Now, my Olympic lifting brothers and sisters aside, you people need a lot of it. But a lot of us don't need all of that dorsiflexion. We're not getting stapled under, a couple hundred kilos on the regular, but some of us are. I would say we still chase that, right? You should be able to go into the bottom position of the squat. But something that impacts us all every day is when that foot trails. So when this hip comes into extension, I should have the ability to dorsiflex my foot. And what you'll see is that when we Olympic lift, for example, people who don't have this range of motion will do a lot of turning the foot out, or running, we turn the foot out, or you'll see that we can't maintain contact consistently through all of the heads of the front of the ball of your feet when you're jumping and landing or exploding. So check this out. This is an easy way to work on improving this dorsiflexion in this trailing leg, which is where everyone tears their calves. Someone's doing a jump step, loads, jumps out of that. So not only is this a range of motion sort of end range position test, a little bit like the 10-minute squat test, but this is also an isometric. We're loading these tissues at end range. And to be totally frank, we'll have some other videos coming up where we talk about how to load this shape and position. Some things that may be missing from your GPP programming, maybe not, but maybe they are, is that this is an easy way to work this isometric into your programming, into your day, so that you can have access to this position. So ideally, what I'd love you to do is if you had some kind of elevated surface, great, I'm gonna show you a workaround in a second. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn my foot in a little bit. So instead of being straight, I'm gonna internally rotate the leg a little bit, which is gonna really wind up the tissues. Now, when we tend to do like the classic calf mode, where you're just like, hole on it, the problem is that it doesn't really capture what we're after and doesn't load the rest of the fascial system or put the hip where we want it. So what I do is I turn the foot in a little bit, and then I'm gonna step across. Now, what the key here is the rotation that I get as I pick the ankle up into having an arch and then load that. You'll suddenly realize, holy moly, this is a position I need to care about. And if you've seen the runners and sprinters working on the drills where they're doing repeats on loading, now you can understand what that is, right? We're driving in this pelvic lock position, rebounding back up, getting those calves to load in this position. So it's some dynamic work. This is just end range static work. The thing that makes it work though is butt is squeezed, leg is up, and this puts me into a position where I can really wind up the deep layers and fascia of the leg. Now, this probably doesn't exist in your world. But what does exist in your world is a dumbbell and a chair. So this could be a kettlebell on its side. I just put my foot up on it. In fact, I in a lot of ways prefer this because it allows me to get a little bit steeper angle of attack. I can modulate out a little bit, but I'm trying to get above ball of foot, and then I step across on the chair. And suddenly, what I feel is where I'm restricted. And what I feel is it's this lower aspect of this gastrocsoleus fascial system. So foot up, step across, and then try to twist the other direction. So the goal is to give yourself a little internal rotation of the leg, step across up onto the chair. This brings that hip up, starts to lengthen that fascia a little differently. Try to smear back across, and as you rotate back across, you will suddenly feel aspects of your calf you didn't have. Then drive your toes into the ground, own that position, squeeze your butt, relax. Do some contract, relax cycles here, spend time at end range, work up, and what you're gonna find is that it's an easy way to really work on one of the most important positions for human beings, and certainly one of the most important positions for athletes, which is, can I load this position? And besides a little downward dog, you may not be loading it at all. Put your foot up on a dumbbell, step onto a chair or a box, live in that shape. You got this.